I should probably just eat half of this. What's the worst that could happen?
I'm high, I wanna cry.
So high,
cry. I'm high, I wanna cry.
Fetal position.
I'm high, I wanna cry. Am I breathing too loud?
Cry.
So high,
Cry.
Should I call 911?
Cry.
I'm high, I wanna cry.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Melas.
Basketball lovers, this one's for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kerby.
Ayo.
And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Hello, podcast listeners. On today's podcast, Castle wins Rookie of the Year. We'll get into that. The Kings commit to Doug Christie. And you won't believe this, but the NBA is considering another format change for the All-Star game.
Baby.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
But first, 40 games in 40 nights. 40 games in 40 nights. I haven't said it once here in the playoffs. We've watched a lot of basketball. We're getting a little loopy. But, man, we had some crazy games last night. Let's start with the Pacers advancing to the second round after staging an insane comeback in overtime. Bucks held a 118-111 lead with 40 seconds left. But the Pacers stormed back, and Indy sealed Milwaukee's epic collapse with Tyrese Haliburton's layup with 1.3 seconds left on the clock. And they send Milwaukee home. And then, obviously, we can get into all the antics that happened after the actual
John
game.
Haliburton.
Oh, John Haliburton.
We're talking John.
But do you want to start with the game before we get to Giannis versus Tyrese's dad?
This game was drunk. We were loopy for sure, but it was also because of this game, which started well for the Bucks. Doc Rivers finally made a big lineup change. It was a lineup we talked about going into the playoffs as something they were doing in the fourth quarters, but Doc said, well, the first 4 games haven't been going well, so let's change it up. They throw in Lopez, goes back to the bench for Bobby Portis. Kyle Kuzma, you're going to the bench for AJ Green. And the point guard got replaced by Kevin Porter. So Kevin Porter, Gary Trent, AJ Green as your 1-2-3 with Portis and Giannis. They played so much in this game. They played of a potential 265 minutes that they had through an overtime game. They played 229 minutes, only 36 minutes for Brook, Kuzma, and a sprinkle for Taurean Prince. I mean, before we get to that overtime debacle, they should have won this thing in regulation. Yep. Just to point out one possession with 30 seconds left. The Bucks are up 2. Kevin Porter Jr. brings the ball up and doesn't pass to anybody. A no-pass possession. That should never happen. It was just a horrible, horrible possession. He misses, and then he allows Tyrese Haliburton to go right by him to tie the game, to send it to overtime. That all shouldn't have happened. Then after Giannis's miss to try and win this thing, Giannis went through it all. A minute left in this game. He was looking at the cameras, thought it was all done in regulation, but then he missed that potential turnaround. As a beauty to send it to overtime. And then in overtime, you brought up the stats. Up 7. How does that happen?
Gary Trent Jr. was on fire.
Yeah.
He was doing it again for the second time in this series. Gary Trent Jr. couldn't miss a 3.
He was 0 for 7 to start this game and then bombed 4 in overtime. That was awesome. It was awesome. And then somehow, he couldn't miss, but he could definitely miss the ball. I mean, the ball got passed through his hands for 2 turnovers. The one especially went through his hands, and here come the went through his freaking legs.
He got wicketed.
Not
great.
That was ridiculous. So, they finished an 8-0 run. The Pacers did to win this freaking game. Just like that. I mean, it happened
happened. Here's how fast it happened, because I have to be honest here. I'm watching this game. I'm watching it live. Obviously, it's entertaining. Giannis is gassed by the end, but it gets to overtime. You're right. They probably should have taken care of regulation, but they didn't. It goes to overtime. Gary Trent Jr. is on fire. He can't miss. And they're up so many points with so few seconds left that I start to zone out a little bit, as you do, right? Start looking at the Twitters, maybe going to fire a tweet about this. You sort of start looking on the internet and I'm checked out. The game is still on. And then part of it was those brutal turnovers from Scary Gary. That one, I mean, the one that he just drops through his legs.
He just dropped it through his legs.
And the other one was a bit of a panic. I don't want the ball here. And Pacers did a great job of trapping him on the side. And then Nembhard came screaming back to jump the passing lane. I mean, that one was huge too. And it was like, I have to rewatch this. What happened in these 40 seconds? And it was a meltdown. It was an epic meltdown. And then in addition to some big shot making from Nembhard and then Haliburton, of course.
Yeah, it was goat to goat for Gary Trent Jr. Gary of all time to literal goat. We've called Chris Middleton the Ferris wheel a lot of times back when he was playing on the Bucks. A good game, a bad game. I guess Gary Trent Jr. is the giant drop because the guy was sky high. 4 threes at the start of overtime, and then literally 2 turnovers to lose the game and end the season for your team. Incredible play by Nembhard to get back for that first steal on Gary Trent Jr. I think AJ Green maybe panicked a little, probably because he missed a free throw in this one as well that could have won the game for the Bucks with 40 seconds left in overtime. There was just a lot of things that went wrong for Milwaukee in the last 40 seconds. Like, they almost had a 5-second violation, just couldn't get the ball in as well, didn't call a timeout, and then they worked their hardest to turn it over. It was like, we are guaranteed turning it over here. And also, you got to give a big shout out to Tyrese Haliburton. Completely crossed up Giannis on the same move he used to get to the rim at the end of regulation. The guy loves to set up for a step back three going to his left and then cross back over to his right, get downhill and finish. Had the dunk at the end of regulation, and then the nice layup over Giannis there in overtime as well. Giannis, not his greatest overtime, I would say. He scored 1 basket, and he was getting hunted every time down, partially just because if you bring Giannis out, it means there's nobody at the rim, which we saw in the last basket by Haliburton, but it looked like he got a little tired from having to carry the team.
There's a clip with like 1:30 to go in regulation. This is even before overtime. I'm sure you caught it. They just had the camera on Giannis bringing the ball up the court, and he just looked so tired. Like, his face just said it all. Like, he had very little left in the tank, and then we still had overtime to go, and it looked like you were good. Like, it looked like they were going to win and at least go back to Milwaukee for Game 6, but the Pacers stormed back.
He was definitely tired. He played the entire overtime with 5 fouls, and I thought that would be the end of the Bucks, but it wasn't. He somehow stayed in it, and he had to bring up the ball at times because Kevin Porter cannot be relied on. Even though he started in this game as a point guard, there was a time Doc said, get the ball out of your hands, and he came to the corner while Giannis was bringing up the ball, and Doc was talking to him, and then 20 seconds left, you saw Dave Yeager, assistant coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, in overtime, 20 seconds left, he had to run onto the floor to tell Kevin Porter Jr. where to be. I mean, that's the weird thing that's happening with this Milwaukee Bucks team as they're trying to figure out. Now they have no more time to figure it out. It's too late. Well, who the hell they are, and that's the interesting thing. First of all, is Giannis going to come back and play center? We talked about on Tuesday's show. What's going on with Giannis? It's going to be tough for him. He's going to be gassed to play center. Brooke, a free agent, may be gone. And then do you bring Kevin Porter Jr. back? I don't know how you can trust him. In all honesty, so there's just so many frickin' questions. But the best ones are about John Haliburton.
Okay,
what are you doing, John?
Let's talk about it. So emotions spill onto the court after this insane comeback, and we then see the clip of Haliburton's dad approaching Giannis with a towel featuring his son's face, and he's shouting at Giannis, this is what we do, this is what we effing do, and he's waving the towel, and there is that one shot of Giannis just standing there, like, looking at him, like, am I gonna have to kill this guy? Like, first off, who is this guy? I don't think he knew at the time, maybe, or at least he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think he did.
But he was offended by it.
Oh God,
and of course talked about it after.
No
but
question.
Never show me a towel.
Yeah, don't dare show me that towel. And then he's like still thinking about it. Of course, sort of seeks him out almost, wants to talk to John Haliburton, and that's when we get them face to face. Forehead to forehead, like it's my buddy Grish in Vegas with too many pops in him and wants to say something, is nuts. And, I will say Haliburton after the game on the podium, he said, look.
John or Tyrese?
Excuse me, Tyrese.
No, you didn't. You
right.
just said Haliburton.
I don't think John Haliburton was on the podium.
I hope not.
Tyrese said, I don't think my pops was in the right.
Yeah.
And then amazing. Obviously Giannis had a lot to say about being offended and then like, come on, show a little humility and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't even done there, right? Because then we had Giannis. That sort of ended. They seem to be okay with it. Giannis and John Haliburton, I'm talking about. And then everybody's still dapping up and saying, good luck, whatever they're saying. And Giannis goes and finds Benedict Mathurin and Giannis like cups his head like he's a small child or something. And I think that's what Mathurin was pissed off about, but he said something and sort of pushed him, and then, oh my God, here we go again.
Well, they had an incident earlier in the series.
They did.
Listen, Giannis was just turned up 1,000. So he was just hot.
Oh, God, yeah.
He was standing at midcourt after the game trying to soak up what the heck just happened.
Yeah.
He was literally just standing
He was
there.
shocked.
And John Haliburton came out of nowhere. The camera I was watching from, I just saw the back of a bald head come at Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I was like, who is this? And Pat Connaughton got in between, and you could see Pat Connaughton's face. The interpretation is like, what is this guy doing here? And he has to get in the middle of these two. And here come the Pacers coaches and TJ McConnell to get in between them. Giannis doesn't do anything. He just stands there and then tracks John Haliburton as he walks away. You just see his eyes track him. And he looked like he was cool. He just started to walk away, and he shook hands with Rick Carlisle. Jim Boylan tried to shake his hand. Giannis said, no, I don't want any of that. He walked right by Jim Boylan. But then the funny thing is he shook Tyrese Haliburton's hand.
Yeah.
And went past Tyrese Haliburton to get to his dad and talk to his dad. We went forward to forehead with, and I think it's Tyrese Haliburton's mom. Her mouth dropped watching this. She said, what is going on here? People had to separate John Haliburton and Giannis Antetokounmpo because he just didn't like the way it was done. Although he did walk away from it and give him a thumbs up. We're all good.
Yeah, again, it seemed like he really wanted to get off his chest what he thought was disrespectful.
Yeah.
And he did.
He did.
And then he left, but then again, the Mathurin parts happened.
Yeah.
That happened after.
Yeah.
Like he was still
he didn't
obviously
like being put in the Muay Thai clinch.
I think that's
Oh.
what I think is happening. Mathurin just like, you don't need to hold me like that, man.
Yeah, we can have the chat afterwards.
Yeah.
Obviously, bad blood. These teams have somehow played each other 100 times in the past 2 seasons. Of course, there's some tension there.
Yeah.
So fingers on the neck is going to set anybody off, I do
Oh
believe.
my God. And then the funniest thing, while all this is, going on, there's that small clip of Brooke Lopez congratulating the Pacers mascot Boomer on a great series. It's like,
You were good,
and we
Boomer.
need to ask, did Boomer have a better series than Brooke Lopez? I think it's fair. I think he maybe did. Anyway,
Yeah,
that was
Boomer's
hilarious.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I will say TJ McConnell did save this game. I know we're not talking about the game anymore, but Teenage
great.
McConnell was freaking huge. He may watch no dunks because I did say earlier in this series, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been the best player in this series, but the Pacers have the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth best players. And I didn't even mention TJ McConnell. We got into the Obi Toppins and Benedict Mathurins, but I didn't mention TJ McConnell. He came out. He really was the energy that the Pacers were lacking because the Bucks were definitely bringing it.
Bucks were
in
up
this
20
game.
points, right, in this
Yeah.
game. And then, I mean,
13 to
that
0
leads,
start.
like, was gone in a hurry, but yeah.
And Haliburton was great down the stretch. Crutch time, a block from behind on Bobby Portis, and then he stole it from Giannis. So he was helping out on both ends. He was playing it on both ends. And John Haliburton is right in a way. I mean, this is who we are. This is what we do. I mean, they came out and performed in a stupid ending. This was a dumb ending. This was finally the game the Bucks looked like they were going to have and own. And then that's inexplainable. I mean,
It's
that
crazy.
is.
It is. But Haliburton, man, maybe he's just the heir to Reggie Miller. Honestly, he had the 4-point play that was awesome earlier this year. Everybody hates him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hate the way he smiles. He makes clutch shots like this the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime, 14 points, 3 assists, game-tying dunk, game-winning layup, doing it for the Pacers. I don't know what Reggie Miller's dad was like, but I can imagine him coming down on the court and screaming at an MVP as well. The guy was getting called overrated, and then he took over. That's great.
Yeah, I think he had a tweet about that, did he not?
Overrate this.
Yeah.
Or that.
Or like, yeah, something about it. Do you think there'll be any penalties handed out by the league for the altercation? And I guess I could ask, like, do you think John Haliburton won't be allowed at any more Pacers games, or now that they're not playing the Bucks, it won't matter as much? What do you do? What does the league do, if anything?
I don't think they do anything, in all honesty.
Like, do you think John Haliburton was in the wrong here?
Yes. Yes, he shouldn't have been on the court.
You don't.
But I think he should have been on the court. I mean, they won the game.
I don't
and
even
he's going to be on the court.
He probably shouldn't have been on the court, but you know what you shouldn't be doing if you are on the court? Stepping to the other superstar on
that's
the
the
team and
problem.
basically, throwing it in his face.
Yeah.
Like if he
said, congratulations, good series,
Right.
nothing happens.
Right. I mean, again, it
was all about the words
say
chosen.
That Giannis knows who he is, but that is the fine line of like, okay, family just coming onto the court immediately after obviously a high intense game. It's like, how do I know this is family? Like I'm putting myself in the player's position. How do I know that's your family member? It could be a random fan.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess. But I mean, they talked for a while after the game.
Oh, yeah.
Twice.
After, yeah.
So I feel like he knew. But
No, he says he didn't in the immediate moment when the
he
guy
didn't.
was
I
staring
didn't
at
know
him,
that.
waving a towel in his face. So anyway, very weird. Do you think anything happens like following this? Like,
I think he gets admonished behind the scenes.
Right.
And we
Okay,
don't
well,
see John
well.
Haliburton again for the rest of the playoffs.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, he'll be there, but I don't think we'll see him going on the court after
No.
games. We're not going to see another John Haliburton incident.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Tiresian said he's got to wait for me to come celebrate with him.
Yeah, he's like,
Type thing.
Dad, let me have my moment. This is the biggest moment of my NBA career. How about you let me enjoy it rather than overshadowing it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as T. Morant and him like coming on the court and being as vocal, but he did go
Why?
up to a superstar.
How is it any different?
Well, it was during
It's
the
not
game.
different.
Well, it's during the game. T. Morant was more during the game, and
Also true.
so this was
different.
the time when they should be celebrating. But the fact was, he didn't celebrate. He was talking trash.
Yeah,
and that's
and
the
what
unfortunate.
Really
part, yeah.
got Giannis upset, I guess.
Oh, very much.
He had a soliloquy after on the podium. He talked for like 3 or 4 minutes about this,
Right.
And had some interesting points and was saying, "Hey, maybe in 20 years from now, you're going to show me you're going to show me being John Haliburton with my son in some game, and you can like throw this in my face, but I don't think I would be like that because of how I was raised and blah blah blah." So, crazy.
Hey, who's that 7-foot guy staring me down at the end of the game?
Yeah, a little different. Wow.
Who is that guy?
Has Benedict Mathurin spoke? Because I feel like he got the worst of the physical part of it, the neck grab, and he didn't say a thing. Benedict Mathurin didn't say a thing to Giannis. Giannis came up and said what he had to say about their series. As you said, it's a rivalry. We don't have a lot of those in the NBA.
No.
Where
This is a good one.
yeah,
Yep.
there's somewhat regional teams here. They're close enough.
Yeah.
and they play.
Central Division rivals.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a big reason why the first round of the playoffs have been pretty damn entertaining. Like there's some bad blood between some of these teams and the physicality and all that. Even if we maybe don't get a bunch of 7-game series, it doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. Anything else from this one?
Yeah, some bone throws here. Aaron
Sure.
Nesmith was awesome. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 3 3-pointers. He was kind of the third Giannis defender, though Jarris Walker, I thought, was pretty interesting as well. Also, a clutch overtime 3 for Nesmith. Had a tip in as well. I thought he was awesome. Nembhard was good, too. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Hit the first 3 in overtime that really got things kicked off. 32 seconds left. Then had that steal on the Gary trap where he comes from the other side of half court
Yes.
to get the steal on the far baseline. That was awesome. Also, maybe there's a cup curse. Lakers and the Bucks lost in 5 games in the first round of the playoffs.
Something to keep an eye on.
Something to keep an eye on. Nobody's going to want to win this thing.
Don't want to win that cup. No. It's a great point. All right, well, let's keep it moving here. We got a bunch of other games to talk about. This one won't take as long. We didn't have any, emotion spilling out onto the floor after this one, but Tatum and the Celtics closed out the Magic 120-89 for the 4-1 playoff series win. So it's Celtics in 5. This was odd because Boston failed to make a 3-pointer in the first half for the first time all season. But then they bounced back and they took out Orlando there in the TD Garden. A big takeaway was Banchero picking up, 3 quick fouls at the start of the third quarter. That was 5 total fouls. They sent him to the bench. And my God, they ripped off a crazy run. By the time he was back into the game, it was a 21-point game.
Yeah, TSN turning point right there. Tie game when he went out and nobody knew the game was over. But a 24-4 run for the Celtics to end the quarter, 30-9, like you're saying. Once Paolo checked back in, it was a tale of 2 halves. Love it. 0 for 6 3-pointers in the first half for the Boston Celtics. First time all year they didn't make a 3-pointer in a half of basketball. And then in the third quarter, the Magic went 0 for 11 from 3, and the Celtics went 5 of 8, finished 13 of 18 in the second half. They played one half of basketball. Basically, in this series, I felt like it was played on the Magic's terms for the most part. Very physical series.
Yep.
First half's pretty close. Boston was a plus 15 for the 5-game series. The second half, though, Boston a plus 49 over the course of these 5 games. And that's just kind of how it felt. We'll play with our food a little bit the first couple of quarters here and then really turn it on in the third, sometimes fourth quarter. Jason Tatum has a new celebration given to him by Baylor Shireman, and he really got to show it off in in the third quarter. When he hits a three now, he raises his arms up and grabs his right wrist to show it. Kind of has like a Diamond Dallas Page diamond cutter look to it, but 3 threes in the third quarter for Tatum, 4 threes on the night, was really showing off the celebration. That's cool. He also dominated this series once he came back from that injury, 36, 37, and 35 to close out the Magic.
3 straight games of 35 or more. And it was apparent out there that the Magic were taking away everybody else, and that's why they couldn't hit threes in the first half. They said, all right, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, you got to play iso ball and take out guys, and Tatum was awesome at doing that. He was so good. Those last 3 games, he averaged 12 free throws as well, so he was really getting into it. And Jaylen Brown helped out with 23 points, but no one else had more than 10 in this game, and it didn't matter because they scored enough. It was a crushing third quarter. The New York Knicks, we're going to talk about them. They've lost every third quarter in this playoff series against the Detroit Pistons. What happens if they face the Celtics? It feels like the Celtics are going to blow them up by 30 in the third quarter. Banchero did go to the bench after those 3 quick fouls. And
They challenged that last one,
Jamal
too.
Mosley said, yes,
Yeah.
challenge, please.
Had to.
Yeah, it didn't work.
A tough call, I thought.
Yeah.
The
I
last
agree.
one's on Brown, right?
Yeah.
Like at the rim.
Yeah, defending Brown on a drive. Yeah, it's a little bit of the guards getting, just sort of getting contact and getting the credit for the call a little bit with that call. I thought the charge, his third one, was the weird one. I mean, it was a post play. You can give it to a guard who's guarding you. And so Derek White just flopped. Like a bit of a flop. I thought that was an awful call. But anyway, they took over. And listen, I think Banchero, Franz Wagner had a really, really good series. The 3-point shooting numbers aren't all that good, but I thought it was better than last year. His numbers are good overall in this series. So they've got some things to go away from in this series. They play extremely hard defensively, and their top 2 guys played well. They just need an old number 3 to help them out.
They need some backcourt scoring so bad. Like, who will it be? I'm fascinated to see who they maybe try and go get. There's talk of like, hey, the Cavs are not going to have enough money for even Ty Jerome. Could a guy like that help them out? And then there's Anthony Simons with the Blazers. I mean, that guy is a scorer. He's a popular trade machine sort of guy to Orlando. Desmond Bane, you start to maybe level up a bit, but he's an expensive guy. I got 25% max of your sort of salary there, but he's locked in for a long time. Anyway, they have to. Because I couldn't believe this. Orlando has been a bottom 10 offense for 13 consecutive seasons. That is a long-ass run to just be in the bottom 10. I'm not saying the worst of the worst. Just down there. So they need to work on that. But you're right. Overall, put up a fight. I wonder, did they provide any sort of blueprint to slow the Celtics' 3-point barrage? Or is that just the makeup of the Magic's team, right? They're just perfectly built to sort of do that. Or can other teams take something from it, how they did try and sort of limit it and take it away? I think it's a little bit more of their personnel, but there are teams like them, like if the Thunder meet the Celtics, I could see them playing sort of a similar game and having to take that away. So good stuff. Celtics take care of business. And you're right, Tatum, man, holy crap. He missed 1 game, but he averaged like 31, 11, and 5, and
he
some
dominated
defensive
when he came
stats,
back.
and barely missed a free throw, and damn good numbers. Anything else from Magic?
I think
Celtics?
it's like encouraging for the Celtics that you look at this series and they won, and not necessarily playing Celtics basketball. Like you're saying, the Magic were good at taking away 3-pointers and 3-point attempts. Only 12 threes made per game for Boston on 31 attempts. Those numbers are way down from the regular season, but they took a ton of free throws. A lot of that is Tatum getting to the line and finishing. They won the rebounding battle against a team that you would say is a bigger team in the Magic as well, and they responded to their physicality despite having lots of guys go out with injuries in this series. Like Drew Holiday didn't play a ton. There were times when Derek White was missing. Porzingis took the elbow to the forehead and missed some time. Jaylen Brown came in with a banged up knee. So are other teams able to look at the way the Magic defended and say, we can do that? Only the best teams. Like literally only Cleveland and OKC probably have a chance at that. Maybe Minnesota as well if they were to make it to the finals. But I think if you're the Celtics, you're like, yeah, maybe they can defend us like that. But guess what? We can still win even if they do.
Yep. Let's move to the Pistons beating the Knicks 106-103 in Game 5. They stay alive in the first round series. This goes back to Detroit. Detroit 4-1 at Madison Square Garden this season. I got 2 here in the postseason. Had 2 in the regular season. Where do you want to start with this one? Obviously, a very entertaining game. Some weird decisions from Thibodeau to keep his sort of star backcourt on the side there for a while after the injury late, and decided not to use a timeout. And the game just kept going for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, somehow the Pistons were up enough late to hold on to this game, and we'll get to that in a sec. But I do want to point out Ausar Thompson and Tobias Harris got them to this point. Cade Cunningham was cold through the first 3 quarters. He had only hit 3 shots, but Ausar helped them get there big time. He played his best game of the series, played his most minutes of the series. I wonder if that's going to happen in Game 6 where he's going to play that much. They need him. He was spectacular. 29 minutes, 22 points, hit 8 shots. Never good from the free throw line, 6 of 12. But clearly his best game, clearly a good guy to throw at Jalen Brunson, which they've tried more and more. But when you play more minutes like that, it helps out. And Tobias Harris was friggin' awesome in this game. Not a huge number points-wise, but did enough. Came up with a very, very, very key block to start that run where Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart were on the bench. And let's get to that. 3 minutes left.
Yep.
They're down. They're injured. They're both sitting on the bench. 2:57 left, and it's a 2-point game. They're down 2. I don't blame Tom Thibodeau for what happened. What happened was a few possessions transpired. They went through 4 possessions, and then those guys said, all right, we're coming back. So they got to the scorer's table with about 1:55 left, and they don't go and foul to get them on the floor. They didn't have a foul to give. They only had 1 timeout left as well. It would have been their last timeout. But really, I think what happened was they just didn't score. I mean, the first possession, Brunson was replaced by Campaign. Campaign gives it to Cat, who got blocked by Tobias Harris. It was monstrous. Then the Pistons scored. Then Bridges missed. Then Cade scored to put him up 6. Here come the guys to the scorer's table. So is that a point where you just say, let's just foul somebody right here, right now? It's a 6-point game. It was 6, but they don't. The Payne misses, Pistons miss, Bridges misses, and then the Pistons miss again. Then Bridges hits a shot, and then there's an inbound to Ausar Thompson where Miles McBride tried to grab him real quick, but he passed the ball away, and it wasn't enough. Then Cade to Ausar Thompson, who kind of sealed it. So I know the headlines are, Tom Thibodeau, you screwed up, but it was 2 minutes left, and it was a 6-point game when those guys were ready. So I don't got a problem with it in the end.
You just think it was unfortunate that the game clock sort of just kept going and there was no real stoppage there to get them in?
Yeah, and there was.
I'll credit Bickerstaff. I got terrified. He was going to call timeout at one point. Like, don't do that. Whatever you do, let this keep going, because the clutch player of the year is just standing over there.
Yeah, that part is great. It's great for
him.
Headlines, but again, I don't know. It's a 155 6-point game. It didn't get that much worse. Not that I mean, you want Jalen Brunson out there. The guy raised the clutch player of the year award before the game, and then he wasn't on the floor. But that's because he was hurt.
I mean, he's banged up.
Yes,
he came into this game hurt.
Yeah,
from the game 4.
And he turned his ankle, literally hobbled off.
You could see the floor flex.
Yeah, warped.
That was an old floor.
Yeah.
It is a very old floor.
I think they should have fouled. You want those guys in.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have called the timeout because they needed it. But
yeah, they called the timeout when he got hurt.
Guys back in, It wasn't close, or it didn't get extended. So you're thinking if we got Brunson, though he didn't have a great game, he's helpful at least. Brunson and Hart would have been nice, especially when you got Campaign taking shots out there. They still almost got it though on the Cat tip. He just tipped it out, Robert Horry style. Didn't go to the right guy, though.
No.
There was nobody there. I thought Ausar Thompson was the key player in this game. I like to see him and Amen have their best playoff games right after each other. 22, 7, and 2 for Ausar. Amen had 17 and 9 in Game 4 against Golden State, and I think the key thing was that Ausar Thompson was playing so good offensively that he was able to stay on the court and guard Jalen Brunson on the defensive end. Brunson went 6 of 16. The size is definitely gonna give him something to think about at the very least. We know that Brunson can get a shot off against anybody, but Ausar was all over him and was able to stay on the floor. Cade Cunningham was also magnificent in the fourth quarter. He had 8 assists on the night, had that bullet pass to Thompson for a layup with 27 seconds left, and basically he was just carving up the Knicks in the fourth quarter in pick and roll. He had 13 points. Jalen Duren, I thought, was really good as well. 6 assists for him. Cade kept finding him on the short roll when he was getting blitzed. Great playmaking from Duren. Also had 7 offensive rebounds, 14 on the night. Turned those into 10 points, whether it be him, the garbage man, or finding somebody outside for 3. So this is a game that you see Ausar Thompson play well. You see Duren play well. That could have maybe happened at home, but they did it on the road in an elimination game. You got to give a big shout out to these young dudes on the Pistons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. 4 of the 5 games in this series have been within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. And you brought it up there. I saw Schumann note this. Cunningham scored or assisted on 11 of his team's 14 clutch points there in Game 5. a brutal shooting game. You said it, Tass. Like, he started so slowly. What was he? 6 of 17 in the end, and maybe more turnovers than you want. But, like, to me, that game was like, oh, if you're not convinced he's a superstar, then go rewatch this game, because those are the games to me that you're actually become a superstar. When the game you're struggling, you don't have it going, you're obviously still competing, and then you just take over. You still go sort of nuts in the fourth quarter, setting up guys, or getting to the line, putting a ton of pressure on getting to the free throw line where he went 11 of 12. I thought he was so good. And trusting, you're right, Duren in the short roll, who, man, sometimes that guy has like rock hands, I find, and then but when it gets to him, when he actually catches it, he makes smart decisions, either like looking at the rim or kicking out or finding Asar Thompson, who Bickerstaff couldn't even take off the floor because he's played so well. Yeah. Like, there was a lot of times where he wasn't playing in fourth quarters, but he's like, I have to play him. And he's gotten just smarter the way he's been playing Brunson. I think a part of it, Brunson being banged up, yes, maybe slowed a little bit coming into this game, but he's like realized, like, I don't need to pick up those dumb fouls, 50, 60 feet away from the rim. Like, just move my feet, just move those dogs. And he is so goddamn quick, just like his twin brother, at sliding. I'm telling, it's nuts to see someone in the NBA like actually sort of be able to contain a superstar player in just moving his feet, because he's so athletic. So great game from those guys. And you're right, those guys, Cade, Thompson, and Duren, like, it's a damn good young three, right, to build around, or at least what you're seeing here in the postseason. So how does this one go now? Because, I mean, obviously the Pistons have been great at Madison Square Garden, but back in Detroit, they haven't been as good.
They haven't won.
They haven't won. Yeah.
They got to win one at home in this series.
I don't know what to expect here. Is this going 7, though?
Yeah, you could see a great Knicks game, that is for sure. This was an incredible performance on the bench. We've named all the Pistons, and I don't know how many more Tobias Harris games we'll have with 4 blocks, but he was monstrous against Cat. He did a great job. So, yeah, that's a big question. Somehow the Pistons will win the third quarter, because they've won 5 of them already in this series, so it'll come to that. But they're a more deep team, which is weird to say. But the Knicks just have the lowest scoring bench in the playoffs, so you just got to get some performances. We didn't mention Schroeder, but I thought he was clutch a lot of the time when he's on the floor. And you get a game where both teams, wanted to give it away at the free throw line. Both teams missed a lot of free throws in this game.
They did.
So it was a weird one. We got a series you don't know. You just don't know who's going to win the next game.
Yeah, the part I do know, though, it feels like the Knicks offense is like, Brunson, please bail us out. Please. I mean, it's been their sort of offense a lot of this regular season, and then you hope Cat's got the bombs that he's dropping. They should probably post him up a little bit more. I know Tobias Harris is doing a good job on him, but it actually seems to work a lot of the time. He does, yeah. Much bigger. But otherwise, it's like Brunson. It is Brunson here, man. Like, he brings the ball up, he hands it off, he sort of circles a little bit, and he just gets it back, and you've killed like a bunch of clock, and then he tries to operate. But if he's hobbled, because I keep harping on this, I thought he was almost hobbling from the start of this game, from the comeback that he came in game 4 after that injury, and then he re-aggravates it. I don't know. Like, is this guy just running out of ankles?
That never happens with the Knicks.
Right.
Oh, wait, that happened
all the time.
I'm hearing last season that happened?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. So, I mean, the Knicks need to win this in the next game, because they don't know what's going to happen going into a game 7. They've played better on the road. I think they need to ride Towns. He's having a very good series. 22 points per game, 50% from the field, 50% from 3, 94 at the line. There are times when Tobias Harris can handle him, and there are times when Tobias Harris looks like he can't handle him.
Yeah.
He should be outplaying Jalen Duren, so I think that's got to be more getting Cat involved. Usually that comes in the first 3 quarters, but if he can go for 25 in the first 3 quarters, maybe give you 5 to get to 30 in the fourth quarter, where Brunson decides to turn it up and get into his bag, which he has done in this playoffs, the Knicks should still feel confident, but all the pressure is on them, I think, for Game 6. Detroit should be flying free. We earned ourselves yet another game back in the pizza box.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And they know what their game plan is. It's like, just put Cat or Brunson in every action. That's the other thing. Like, they're like, oh yeah, they got OG and Mikal Bridges. Those guys are elite defenders. Don't worry about them. We won't bring them into the play, because they just keep attacking Cat and Brunson, as you should. So Bickerstaff is doing a great job here, I think, with these young guys.
Although Mitchell Robinson off the bench had his best game.
He did.
He was very, very good. He was +9, 13 and 11, 2 steals and 2 blocks. So his minutes were good. they won
Rob, though. We saw a little bit.
Hack a Mitch.
Yeah.
As Ian Eagle said, hack a Mitch. They're going to hack a Mitch, Grant Hill said. what did you say? He didn't think he said hack a Mitch. Yeah. And then Iron Eagle said, you think I was Wayne Brady for a second, did you?
He's freaking quick, isn't he?
That's good.
Yeah,
That's like
Iron. Way to go, Iron.
That's just like sideways from Grant Hill's favorite poutine joke.
Yeah, that's an inside joke, baby.
He loves a slightly different word, doesn't he?
He loves music too. Anything else from this one? Knicks Pistons.
I
Fun
thought that was
series.
a Pistons-paced game. You know, it was only 14-13 fast break points, but they played pretty fast, which was kind of weird because you would hear Josh Hart. He did the third quarter interview. He was like, we got to play faster. I was like, wait a second here. I feel like the Pistons are doing great by playing faster, but Josh Hart is the guy that wants to play faster because he's the fast break guy on the Knicks. Everybody else is pretty slow, if we're being honest. But I thought good stuff from Detroit to play their style game.
Yeah, and Hart we barely talked about it. He took a hell of a fall there too, man. Sort of like, I guess that was the one where Cade threw a little chicken wing, obviously attacking, and he got off balance, and he landed with a thud. We'll see what happens in Game 6. This is a fun series. Detroit, see if they can get a win in the pizza box. Final game last night. We knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time. Jamal Murray pops off for 43 points. Nuggets grab the 3-2 lead versus the Clippers. Kitchener's finest, 17 of 26 from the floor, 8 of 14 from deep. He also had 7 assists. He had 3 steals. It's his 6th career 40-plus point postseason game. And it leaves the Nuggets here one win away from advancing. Well, we'll start with you, Trey. What are your takeaways, obviously, in addition to Jamal Murray cooking?
Well, I think that Hawkeye saved the Denver Nuggets season. Pretty much ended the Lakers season, if we're being honest, but it saved Denver's season. The Clippers won Game 2 in Denver, blew them out in LA in Game 3. Michael Porter Jr., one arm at that time. Russell Westbrook, foot inflammation. Huge comeback from the Clippers during Game 4. Coming back from 21 down. Might have won it if this gets into overtime. Instead, they get the gift of Hawkeye counting the Aaron Gordon tip. Denver then looks great playing at home in Game 5. Now it's a must-win for the Clippers in Game 6. They have all of the momentum after this one, and it felt like it was going to be a big Jamal Murray night when we were doing the show yesterday. And then he gets a dunk out of the pick and roll in the first 2 minutes of the game. You're like, oh, he's got his legs. Bad news for the Clippers, and it was, because it didn't matter who was guarding him. Chris Dunn stayed on the floor for quite a bit of this game.
He was hitting threes.
He couldn't handle Jamal Murray, though. You look at what the Nuggets got from Jokic, 13 points on 13 shots, and they win in a blowout. You would have never picked that. He did finish with a triple-double, of course, but just awesome stuff from Murray. Great shot making. He had guys draped all over him for a lot of these, and it just didn't matter. When he's in a flow, he's going to score.
Yeah, Coach Lou said, we knew in Game 5 Murray would come out aggressive, and he made every shot. Pull-up threes, mid-range. We blitzed him. We dropped. We switched. We did a lot of different coverages, but he had a hell of a game. That was they were all sort of saying that after. It's like, what do you do when he's like, we've seen it before. It's been a long time. Maybe got to go back to the bubble, right? To play off Jamal Murray really cooking like that in a postseason game, but he was sort of unstoppable. In addition, you got Westbrook coming back, and he was amazing in the first half to give them some breathing room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We may look back at it, this series, as a game they lost. The Clippers did with Aaron Gordon's dunk. If you want to really look into it, the Game 1 where they were by far the better team, but giving it away like sloppy joes 20 times. Those 20 turnovers were very important. They gave that game away. If they do lose this series, I think those are the things you look back at. But at this particular game, this is just a good Denver Nuggets offense. You couldn't stop them. You really couldn't. And it was funny to hear Jamal Murray, after such a scorching game, ask post-game about playing with Nikola Jokic, one of the best ever. He had a stinky game. Nikola Jokic had a stinky game. I mean, it wasn't really good. 13, 12, and 10. Yeah, a triple-double. That's what he was asked about. He hit 4 buckets in this game. They didn't need him. Thought James Harden did a pretty good job against him. They put James Harden guarding him at times. Physically with him, he wouldn't allow him to get the ball, but James Harden on the other end was horrible. He was really bad. Coming off of Game 4 where he had 15, you'd think, all right, here's a bounce-back game. Didn't happen. Somewhat. You score more than 15. But anyways, he had a bad one. 11 points. Missed every single 3 he took. He just took 2 in this game. But he's averaging 19 points now for the series, 4 turnovers and 5 assists in this game. Christian Brown was better on him, definitely. Yeah. That helped. Stole it off him, deflected another. So that was better. But they won the non-Jokic minutes. Or, excuse me, in the first half, they only lost them by 1. So with Westbrook doing what he's doing and Aaron Gordon doing what he's doing with this offense, it's like top 4 in the league. They just were awesome.
I mean, yeah, when Westbrook is like, he hit like 3 threes there in a pretty short span. Then he who did he score on that he dropped Rocket Baby on? I forget who that was that he scored over.
He was
trash
talking
good.
Bogdanovich.
It was
game.
Bogdanovich. Yeah, that's who it was.
He also pointed the 3-pointer at him.
Yeah. They started
What a
talking
weird
some
beef.
crap.
Westbrook versus Bogey. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Westbrook
it's
just
bench
needs to
beef.
find
He needs
anyone to get
anybody.
him going.
Oh,
yeah.
you'll talk to me? Nice. Let's go.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
I do feel, hey JD, turn the TikTok camera on because this is to someone in particular. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, hearing other notable NBA podcasts sincerely act surprised in the year 2025 when James Harden is laying a dud in a playoff game. What? Like, I feel like people are playing a bit on me at this point. How are you possibly shocked? How? And you can't say, oh, he had a great regular season. Maybe had him all NBA third team. Like, he always had good regular seasons and always lays a playoff dud or two in every series he plays. Like, I'm like baffled that people were fooled or like surprised, I guess is a better word. Oh my God, James Harden had a bad playoff game? What the fuck are we doing? What? How have you been tricked again and again? Or why do you, like, it's Men in Black memory erased every time with this guy? It's not a surprise.
He took 9 shots.
It's not a surprise.
He took 9 shots is the problem. He just wasn't aggressive. He was.
Oh my God.
He was playing defense. That was the problem. He had to play defense. He had to guard Nikola Jokic, so there's no way to possibly give it on the other end. But I think it's kind of like the Nuggets did great to get wins in the 2 good Westbrook games. He's had 2 good games. Yeah. They won the first one with the Westbrook 3 and then the deflection in overtime. He was good in this one, 21 points, 3 threes. Contributing, basically the Nuggets played 6 guys for the majority of this game, though DeAndre Jordan got some solid minutes as well. Almost a go-to-bed moment when he blocked the shot, turned into a Jamal Murray dunk on the other end. Meanwhile, they got nothing from Harden. So if you win the 2 Westbrook good moment games, that's awesome. It's not a surprise to lose the Harden bad games. He starts hot at the beginning of a playoff series and tapers off as it goes down. We'll see if he's got anything for Game 6 because they need him to be a double-double.
Yeah. It was sad that he didn't shoot as much, that's for sure, and that he missed some free throws as well, which is weird. But it is expected that he definitely tapers off. That's what happens. Wow. If anybody watched our show on NBA TV, we had it as a graphic. James Harden's performance in Game 1 of playoff series, in Game 2 of playoff series, in Game 3 of playoff series, all the way to Game 7, he tapered off. So what happened? He also tapered off from the first 3 quarters to a fourth quarter. Yeah. In regular season games.
And you guys brought up a good point. Like, he did an admirable job in guarding Jokic, and I thought that was a fun wrinkle from Lou. Like, once again, they're down 22 points in the fourth quarter, like they were in Game 4. They came all the way back in that one. Then Aaron Gordon gets the buzzer-beating dunk. This one, they're down 22 in the fourth. They start making a run. They went on a 17-4 run. Like, the butt cheeks were getting tight there in Denver, and it was a cool move by Lou to put Harden on Jokic. But I liked the counter from Adelman. It was like, okay, we don't need Jokic tonight with the way Murray's playing, and so let's get Zubats out here, bring Aaron Gordon over, and let those guys operate. And I thought that was really smart counter as well. And that's when Murray scored a little bit, Aaron Gordon scored a bit, they had 11-0 run, and then it was like sort of go to bed, everybody, it's out of reach. But I also wouldn't be surprised if this, of course, comes back for a Game 7 in Denver. You don't know. These 2 teams, man, they're sort of infuriating in that way. It's like, after Game 3, you said it was like there was a lot of people saying, there goes the Clippers, they're going on.
Oh, I did for sure.
And it's like the Nuggets have played so many series where they're down. Like they do come back, they get better, or maybe at least Jokic levels up, and Jamal Murray obviously has these performances, and they do have the core of a championship team. Like Michael Porter Jr., the guy is playing with one arm, and he played a pretty good game last night.
He was good. I thought Aaron Gordon was good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's impressive that Michael Porter Jr. is out there doing anything, playing with basically one arm. But Gordon had 23 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Also went 8 of 9 at the free throw line, 1 for 2 from 3. The guy is a shooter now. Like, he's shooting 81% free throws, shot 42% in college. He's really worked to become a shooter because they need shooting on this team, and now it feels reliable when they kick it out to him. Like, he's not the number 1 guy you want taking threes, but you're not scared if he's the guy, and he's definitely not scared to go to the line either. So I thought good top 6 performances for the most part from the Nuggets, and now they have to replicate that on the road. It's been 1 blowout each way and 3 close games.
Yep.
Yeah, they've each took 2 in a row here. So you think the Clippers are going to respond?
Sure.
Pretty well.
I mean, look, Kawhi probably could have a Terminator game in him for sure here. Like one where he's like, refuses to lose and has his 35-40. I mean, he had a pretty quiet Game 5. I know we're glossing over him because we're talking about Harden. Yeah, 11 assists, right? I think that's his career high. ever.
Could be, yeah.
I think it might be. Postseason or regular season, or maybe tied it. Fun series, fun game, and it's cool to see Jamal Murray cook again. All right, let's get to the up-down report.
Prepare your tubis. It's the up-down report.
All right, the up-down report. We haven't done this in a while. Thumbs up or thumbs down, guys, and everybody on YouTube right now, play along or play along after. Podcast listeners, jump on Twitter if you want to play along. Spurs guard Stephon Castle has won the NBA's 2024-25 Rookie of the Year award. Castle received 92 of the first-place votes. Reece Shea of the Hawks earned 5 first-place votes. He finished second, and the Grizzlies' Jalen Wells got the other 3 first-place votes. Up or down on Castle being selected as the Rookie of the Year?
I'm going up.
Okay.
Congratulations to Stephon Castle. I do like the guy that he battled with when it comes to this award. Zachary Reese-Shea and him could both definitely be all-stars. They could definitely be good players. But I do think during the season, Stephon Castle did play more important minutes. He definitely played more towards the end of games. And I know our man John Schumann said, don't worry about clutch minutes. That doesn't mean anything. Sometimes a team can go up 6 points and you're not playing in a clutch minute and the stats don't keep them because you're up 6 minutes. But Stephon Castle played in 26 clutch minute games. And Zachary Sachet only played in 11. And I watched Atlanta Hawks games and he just wasn't there towards the end of games. And even though Stephon Castle's minutes got more important when Wemby went down, he stayed extremely efficient. He stayed exactly the same, even though he was shooting more and had more opportunities. So that guy that you often saw come off the bench to start the season and, get that rep as here comes this dunk contestant participant. All of that was his MO, but now he's just turning into a good player. So I'm totally okay with that, even though I'm here and I was cheering for Zachary Reese-Shea because he also, along with, Castle and how he stayed to exactly what he was, even though he had more shots. Reese-Shea got better as the season went along. In 2024 of this season, he shot 29% from 3, but January 1st and after, he shot 40% from 3. So a good sign. Either way, congrats to Stephon Castle. He deserved it.
The 4th Spurs player to win Rookie of the Year. Back-to-back, him and Wemby, and then obviously Duncan Robinson and Tim Duncan.
David Robinson.
Sorry. Somebody else did that. I think the Daily did that. Yeah,
Duncan Robinson?
Maybe it was Bill's podcast.
Tim Duncan,
actually.
Dave Robinson.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a back-to-back Rookies of the Year, I start thinking of the LA Dodgers. In the 90s, they had 5 guys win Rookie of the Year consecutively. Eric Karros, Mike Piazza, Raul Mondesi, Hideo Nomo, and Todd Hollinsworth.
Wow.
Bet you didn't think you were going to hear those names
No,
on today's
not some of
podcast.
those.
Wow.
I think this is more of an Eric Karros, Raul Mondesi than a Mike Piazza.
Sure.
But still, I think Tass nailed it. Very similar cases for Castle and Reese-Shea. They were big parts of their lineup in the first half of the year, got better as the year went on. Castle was just probably a little bit better. Playing with Wemby up until the All-Star break, 13 a game, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists. After the All-Star break, when Wemby went down, a lot more opportunity.
Yeah.
18 a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he was the MVP of the Rising Stars game, which probably put him over the top.
What happened to the Jalen Wells pick?
The Grizzlies started stinking, and he started playing worse. So
Okay.
that's why he got 3rd.
Yep. And of
Yeah.
course, I think
if he
it would have been
stayed
interesting
the
if
course,
Jared
then,
McCain
yeah.
had played the entire season, too. And
Oh, yeah.
he
Oh,
probably wins
God.
this thing.
Well, yeah, if he keeps playing as well as he did for 20 games.
I mean, we had a guy win it Rookie of the Year scoring 14.7 points per game, which is the lowest since, Malcolm Brogdon won the award way back in 2017. So nobody obviously filled it up in terms of scoring. I think Jared McCain would have probably scored more. But you're right. I mean, he just did it over a small stretch. Who's to say he doesn't peter out as the
There'll
season
be
goes on.
scouting eventually, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him back.
Yeah. But Castle, playing in 81 games, that's something there as well. So good for him. Winning Rookie of the Year. All right, next one. News broke yesterday that the Sacramento Kings and interim coach Doug Christie are finalizing a multi-year contract to make him the franchise's next head coach. Get rid of the interim tag. Sacramento went 27-24 this season after Christie took over for Mike Brown. Trey, we'll start with you here. Up or down on the Kings hiring Doug Christie as a full-time head coach?
I think I'm sideways trending down on this one.
Okay.
Because at first I was like, what's the big deal with Doug? 27-24, but you look into it, they started 20-11 when he took over, which means they ended 7-13, blown out at home in the play-in game. You can argue it gives them some semblance of stability since he is, a Sacramento legend. He's been part of the coaching staff since 2021, was a broadcaster prior to that. But the reason I'm trending down is because it looks like they didn't look around at all. It's like they had their backup for Monty McNair and Scott Perry immediately hired, and then they just hire this guy who has been around, who was the interim coach and is a team legend. You have to think that the Kings would probably benefit from getting some sort of a new voice around. Right. So that's why I'm a little like, eh. I mean, I think he kind of deserved it because they were, I don't know, were they better with him than Mike Brown? I don't know. They were fine.
I think it was comparable. In Doug's
comparable.
defense, I guess they were like 11-6 when De'Aaron Fox was there after Christie took over, and obviously then they trade him, and that changes your whole makeup of your team. You don't have a point guard, really. So, yeah. But I'm with you. I'm sort of like, man, I guess. Sure. Like Scott Perry just got hired as general manager. He said he was going to take time to evaluate Christie and look at other options, and it took about a week. They're like, all right, let's just give Doug Christie the chance here. Who he does say like has a really good rapport with his players, and they do seem to respect him. So we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the team that Scott Perry builds, and I am sort of meh on this, but I am positive about Scott Perry, and so I do think that he has faith in Doug Christie. What he puts on the bench, as far as the roster goes, is the important part for me. But Scott Perry's been around for a long time, and I don't know what his plan is for the players or what his plan is for Doug, really. Is it, let's just see what you do for a while and you kind of are just there? Not that we'd call him a lame duck because they just gave him a freaking extension, but it seems like every NBA coach is kind of a lame duck.
He's like, you took over, you did okay. You didn't it wasn't brutal. So we'll give you the contract while I try and figure out this team, and I get a year or 2 or 3 to sort of play with, and then we'll sort of reassess how you're actually doing as a real head coach. Now, I guess Christie is expected to restructure his entire coaching staff in the offseason as well, and we'll get more of a say in who he wants to bring in, and they should get him probably some other veteran guys alongside him. But I hear what you're saying. I think that's sort of what Perry's thinking here.
Yeah, and every coach can be axed, really what it comes down to in the NBA currently. And so maybe it's a cheap contract, even though a lot of coaches are getting paid a ton of money. And maybe it's Vivek Ranadive likes the contract that Doug Christie's signing. We don't know, but I am more concerned with the roster that Scott Perry builds because we've just seen the same team-ish. I should take that back. It's not the same team, but just this mediocre team for a while now. Other than the playoff run, 7 games. It was a good one.
I wonder if is it possible that Scott Perry does reach out to some of these more notable names who just got let go, be it Jenkins or Malone or whoever, and they were like not interested in coaching the Sacramento Kings, and maybe are looking at the landscape of the NBA thinking there'll be a better, more enticing offer. Maybe
Michael ain't coming back there.
Well, yeah, right. Good point. Yeah, probably not.
No, probably not.
I wonder. But then again, maybe it's just he's got confidence in Doug.
I think the Vivek piece is a huge part of it. The reporting after Monty McNair was let go was that it wasn't even his choice to fire Mike Brown and bring in Doug Christie, and then you look at who's getting hired. Doug Christie. So you would have to think this is maybe a Vivek call, and maybe that's why Scott Perry is in the role he is. I'll just note that the last 3 Kings coaches, Dave Yeager, 3 seasons, Luke Walton, 2.5, Mike Brown, 2.5.
Yeah. So, but that's the line, obviously. Set it for Doug. Yeah. We're going to know it was Vivek's choice here to run with Doug if they start doing the thing that he wanted to do, which was cherry picking, I believe.
Yeah, 4-on-5.
That's right.
Yeah.
So play defense with 4 guys and just keep one guy down at the other end. So if they do that, if Christie tries that like early in the season, then we're gonna have.
Who do you think would get to be the cherry picker?
Oh, okay. Well,
who are you taking off?
Yeah, really, who's your worst defensive player is what we're getting at.
So is it DeRozan, Levine, or
DeMar.
Sabonis? Your choice.
The problem is there's
there are
too many
3 stars. Which of the 3 is it going to be? Yeah.
They're going to be fighting to be who's the cherry picker.
Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. We're actually going 2-on-5.
Yeah. We'll be down here. You guys just get the stop. All right, next one here in the Up Down Report. 2-time MVP Steve Nash is joining Amazon's NBA studio and game coverage for its inaugural season, according to insider Mark Stein. Nash is going to reunite with former Dallas Mavericks teammate Dirk Nowitzki, who commented on the news by saying he will, quote, have to carry Nash once more. So Dirk already taking a shot at his buddy Nash there. I'll start with you, Tass. Are you up or down on Nash joining Amazon's NBA coverage next season?
There's no way he can be down for Stevie Nash. I'm sure they'll be funny. Wow. People are saying, what? What?
Well, okay. No, you go ahead. You make your case.
No, I don't really have much of a case to make. I think he'll be funny. I think he understands that coaching ain't all that it's meant to be. He was a coach of the Brooklyn Nets. He got fired. Now he's just chilling in a studio, both pregame and postgame. Is he doing games?
Well, that's what I'm not sure about. Like, because they already have Dirk. They already have Blake Griffin. Lead studio host is Taylor Rooks. I mean, you're adding another person in Nash who's very similar, if we're being honest, to those other two guys in terms of, I think,
dry
humor. Yeah, in Dirk and Blake. That seems like overkill. So I don't know. Maybe Steve Nash will be doing more games than studio analysis. But then Nash had he had some experience doing soccer studio.
He did do soccer.
Analysis. He was in a studio. No one remembers this, but like the 1819 and 1920 seasons, he was for Turner Sports UEFA Championships League. He was in studio.
Because I can't remember beyond yesterday, how many games a week does Amazon have, though? Maybe they've got multiple
That's a good question.
Yeah.
different crews.
Because they got Dwayne Wade and Candace Parker as well. Like, they've got an awesome starting five of analysts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Nash,
got a
Wade,
lot.
Candace, Dirk, and Blake. That's almost like actual basketball personnel team-wise
Yeah,
as well.
it's a good team. Ian Eagle, who we just talked about, who we love, he's earmarked as the platform's #1 play-by-play announcer. We know that. And then we just learned from The Athletic that TNT Stan Van Gundy, he's been hired by Amazon. He's going to be a game analyst. Cassidy Hubbarth, we know, is going to be on the sidelines. She's coming from ESPN. So, yeah, I don't know where Nash slots in here.
They do have a lot of games, though. My listing here is that they take over on Thursdays after the football season.
Yeah.
They take over Fridays after the football. Oh, no. They have Fridays before the football season ends. Okay, sure. ESPN takes over after that. And then Saturdays as well. ESPN through the weekend games are likely going to come during the second half of the season of Saturdays. That's why it's complicated. There's a bunch of different sequence where they have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So they've got a lot of games, it feels like.
Okay.
And I think they have Black Friday as well.
Okay.
And the NBA Cup in-season tournament. So they got lots, man.
Cup it up.
So, TK, you're up on this? Nash joining this team here?
Yeah, sure.
Even though we don't know what he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some clips from his podcast with LeBron James. Seems like if you want to get a job in the NBA, a good place to start is co-hosting Mind the Game.
Yeah.
You can show off what you know about basketball and then use that to your advantage. I saw him talking about how come every time he would dribble underneath the hoop, it would always work. Nobody had ever seen it before.
Yeah, I watched
Good
that clip.
stuff. Yeah, so I don't know what to expect from Steve Nash. I've been optimistic everywhere he went. I couldn't wait to see that soccer coverage with Thierry Henry. I thought he was going to be a good coach with the Brooklyn Nets. Now I don't remember anything about the soccer, and the Nets thing didn't go well. We'll see what happens, but I like the idea of pairing it with Dirk Nowitzki. Maybe they can recreate some famous photos.
That could be very fun. And obviously he does have a sense of humor, and I think that is important with one of these shows. And like they can't try and replicate inside. They shouldn't do that. They got to find their own voice and become their own thing. But yeah, if it's Dirk, Blake, and Taylor Rooks, and then maybe Nash or not, I mean, it's a hell of a start. It's promising. It makes sense that they would have some fun and be able to talk about the game. And I think that's what people want, right? They want that balance. That maybe sometimes inside, swerves too far to the just entertainment. So you could argue maybe that's, in some cases it works when it's a 40-point blowout. They're like, let's just clown on each other and run to the board real slow and fake, punch each other. That's good.
Wade did the Olympics with Noah Eagle.
Yeah.
As far as on the games. So maybe he's the games guy. Maybe. Is that clear?
Who, Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Wade is officially. I thought it wasn't officially. He was with I thought he was NBC because he did the Olympics.
I'm just going by what awful announcing had to say.
Yeah. I think he maybe still hasn't really officially signed. NBC has Tarico Noah Eagle. Terry Gannon, I think, is another play-by-play guy. And then they have Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller as game analysts. And they have Carmelo Anthony in studio. I know that's that's the NBC brand right now. And then obviously there's TNT that are just like leasing inside the NBA to ESPN. It's still going to be really weird. Final one here. The NBA is considering another change to the format of its All-Star game, and this time there could be an international twist, okay? I'm quoting Adam Silver here. He told this to The Athletic. Our All-Star game will return to NBC next season in the middle of their coverage of the Winter Olympics. Given the strong interest we've seen in international basketball competitions, most recently in last summer's Olympics in Paris, we're discussing concepts with the Players Association that focus on NBA players representing their countries or regions instead of the more traditional formats that we've used in the past. TK, up or down on the NBA considering a new international format for the All-Star game? Oh, he's going sideways.
I'm going sideways. Because it's hard to think any of these are going to work. But why not try it?
Keep trying.
Because after all, as Adam Silver said, it's not lost on us that we're going to be in the home of the 28 Summer Olympics. We'll be competing in the arena into it, where the basketball competition will take place in the 2028 Olympics. People are going to tune into the 2026 All-Star International Tournament because they know it's the same court as the Summer Olympics 2 years later. You got to get people excited for that. Further down the line, Summer Olympics. Honestly, as long as it's not what they did last year, anything is better.
Well, that means no tournament then.
Well, this is going to be a tournament.
I don't think it is.
Maybe.
I think they're leaning towards fine. We're going to do USA versus the world. Fine, we'll give it to you. Because that's what a lot of people keep saying, we'll fix it. I think there were a lot of other quotes, like they were leaning like, the tournament did not work.
No.
The little mini game.
was
So
a
I think
miss.
it's going to be one game. And if I'm guessing Tass, I think it is going to be obviously a Team USA versus some sort of world group. Because otherwise, how are you doing it if it's not a tournament?
Well, I want to say first it has to be a basketball game. Like there's no Kevin Hart, no Mr. Beast, no executive whole studio crew during the game talking about things because that tournament wasn't even a tournament. They were sitting there for 2.5 hours.
No, it was
Players
a joke.
Played a little bit, and then they sat forever. It wasn't a basketball game. So that's the first thing. And then, we have to talk about whether or not it's a tournament or not. And there's the talk about copying the NHL's Four Nations tournament, which, look, national pride, I'm all up for. That's exciting stuff. But that was a 4-team tournament over 9 days. It was very long.
Yeah.
Super long.
Yeah. It did massive ratings. It was amazing.
Oh, people love their national pride. I was watching. I loved hearing the Finnish national anthem. That's great. I loved it. And it's fun. Elbows up, everybody, let's do it. But what is it going to be on the basketball floor? If it was going to be a tournament, you could have 2 games on the Friday night and then those teams play on Sunday.
So what teams are we doing in this tournament thing? Obviously USA, and then what are you doing a Canada and like a Europe and like an Oceanic team or something?
Yeah, that is a bit of the issue. Canada has a billion players. They could easily have a team. France.
Okay, but can I push back on that?
What?
Like, yeah, they could, but that doesn't mean they're all-star worthy Canadian players.
That's the weird
RJ
part.
Barrett, come on down.
Like this is
the
the
weird part.
crazy part to me.
Yeah,
I feel
but
like
it's
Draymond
Zubac's
Green. I'm like, what
all-star.
are we doing here now?
Yeah. It's probably just going to be one game, USA versus the
I
world
think
on
so.
Sunday. But that being said, there was 4 hockey teams that played. They weren't all all-stars.
No, I know.
So,
But that's
when
it wasn't
Canada-
even an all-star game. That was obviously completely something else. It was like a mini Olympics.
Yeah.
To get everybody excited about the Winter Olympics happening
Yeah.
in 26. So.
Well, the All-Star game is poops anyway, so why not try something entirely different? There's enough to floor a U.S. team, a Canada team. There's no doubt. This is just an option. We're
okay.
just spitballing
I
here.
know.
There's a billion Canadian players. There's a billion American players. There's enough French players to suit up, especially for just 2 games. You don't have to have 15 guys. I'm not going to go through every Rudy Gobert and Nicolas Batum, but there's enough.
Okay,
but
but again-
there's enough Australians. Anyways, it's not going to be that. It's not
think
going to
it'll
be
be
that. I mean, that would be best for national pride because USA versus the world is good enough on the American side, but for the world side, I don't know. Are people going to
it's-
get up for it?
It's funny to just think of like you're listing these nations. It's like they probably want Luka in it. I don't think Slovenia has enough players
don't.
for a team.
No.
Greece probably doesn't have enough
They don't.
players.
So
in the
it
NBA
has
for
to
a
be
team.
like it's almost
Yeah.
got to be the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be Team USA versus what do they play? The Europeans, best Europeans, I guess.
Yeah.
And they put all the nations together to take on the Americans in the golf turn.
And we did this in the Rising Stars, right?
Yeah, we've done it.
It was USA versus the world, right?
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Very memorable.
Bogdanovich made it.
Yeah, well, Fridays aren't memorable on All-Star
No,
weekends
I know,
anyways.
I know.
So-
Also, didn't Four Nations tournament took like 9 days?
That's what
Exactly,
I said.
yeah.
It was the Olympic. It was a little hockey Olympics. It was not an all-star game. They
But that's
just said,
something
do
built
it.
into the NHL. Like they always take breaks for international tournaments,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now with the All-Star game, we literally have 4 days off after All-Star weekend. Like they literally have 7 days from Friday to Thursday. They had last year off. So you could
Jam it in there.
push it a little bit. I mean, you don't
I'm
want
just
to.
laughing because we can't even get them to play one basketball game. And now, like, well, what about this? Though? What if we just did an entire Olympics?
Yeah, a week is weird. A week is weird. That's why the Friday to Sunday. Anyways, USA versus the world is what it's going to be. And if
Probably.
Luka and Shea
Yeah.
and Wemby
And
and
Jokic.
Jokic That's a freaking good team that's playing against the Americans, and there might be some national pride as what happened with the NHL. Guys were excited to have their country on their chest. That being said, what if it says? What's it going to say? What's the emblem going to be? An Earth? I mean, what is it going to be?
That'd be cool.
An Earth with America crossed out on the globe.
I mean, it's probably USA, Canada, and then like Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. There's too many continents left over for there will only be 4 teams.
We
But
just got to cancel
they're not
this.
going to combine
Just cancel
USA
it.
and Canada and do North America.
No.
Oh, jeez.
I hope not.
Though that makes the most sense if you're like trying to break it down into 4 teams, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, do you guys want to hear who would be on the German team? They'd be pretty solid.
Franz and Mo.
That's
Dennis.
Schroeder's.
Obst. They're bringing Obst over.
Tristan De Silva can play for them.
Okay.
Isaiah Hartenstein can play for them.
Yeah.
Ariel Porty can play for them.
Okay.
Anyways, they could
If
field
they
the team.
actually did this, though, what you're saying, and maybe they do, like the what was it called? Four Nations?
Yeah, formation. So it's like
but-
8 or to 10 guys. Doesn't
but if
have
they
to be
did this,
monsters.
Would
but
they,
they're not all.
Would they also name, like, would we just name all-stars and then, a player that wouldn't be on one of those, like, nations, like, just gets it off? Like, we have to name all-stars still, just for history, I think. Yeah. Like, of course, select an all-star team.
Why?
Because it's on their basketball reference page. It just can't stop.
That's right.
Maybe as a case to get into the Hall of Fame, sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
okay, fine. But honestly, who cares? Who cares at this point?
I'm on record saying cancel the All-Star game for
cancel
a year
it.
or two, and then guess what? They'll bring it back, and everybody will be like, "Oh, yay,
That's
the
right.
All-Star game's back." I know
That's
that would
right.
work.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it because they obviously NBC's like, "What the hell? We just paid billions of dollars for this thing. We want an All-Star game or something."
Yeah.
Well, that's on you, NBC. Sorry.
But that was also the lowest watched All-Star game in NBA history last year.
Yeah, I guess.
It
Yeah.
can't get much worse. Try something.
Hold my beer. Yes, it can. You've said this 3 years in a row. It can't get worse. It can't get worse. Every year it gets worse.
Well, that wasn't
Every
an All-Star
year.
game. Watching
I don't care, but
watching
we've said
Mr.
this.
Beast give something away on the floor is not an All-Star game.
I agree.
That was some of the best moments I thought.
I agree.
Mr. Beast, by the way, he's got a nice jumper. I saw a clip of him
Really?
shooting threes this week. Why? Was it him or was it Micah Potter? I don't know. Can it get worse? You were just telling me Ariel Huck-Porty's going to be an All-Star.
I didn't mean. I just wanted to say Porty. That's the only reason why I included him as part of the French team. Was it German? My bad.
Yeah, German.
My bad. It's forgettable.
All right, well, let's hear it. Obviously, we're heated about this. We're the only people that care about this still. But you tell us, in the stream team, what should they do? You like this idea? You like the nation's idea? Do you like the team USA versus the world idea? Something else? Cancel it? What do you want?
I like it. Part of the All-Star game now is just complaining about the format every year. Every year we're trying something new.
That's true.
Put them in jerseys. Put them in their jerseys. Here's what will happen. People are like, okay, players are going to wear their jerseys. Their city jerseys. Sorry, suckers. You have no idea who these guys are.
5280. Who the hell does he play for? All right, let's call it there.
That's a way to do it. Elevation. Where players are born, their elevation. Oh, the sea levelers are taking on the mountain toppers today.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could be something there. We'll call it there. We got 2 games on tonight, 2 game 5s. Warriors at Rockets on TNT, Wolves at Lakers on TNT. Obviously, the Wolves and the Warriors trying to close out those series on the road. So we'll see if they can do that or whether or not those series get extended to 6. By the way, on tomorrow's show, I should have said this when we were talking about the Pacers moving on. We will start our second round previews and we make our predictions with at least the Cavaliers and Pacers. We'll get that one in tomorrow, probably a couple more on Friday. So make sure you join us then. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, new All-Star format? Typography. I mean, where are we talking? We're talking mountains, we're talking V the hills, V the sea levels, V the icebergs. I mean, what's the fourth one?
The plains.
The plains. Oh, a lot of Midwesterners getting out there. Yeah.
Cool. Brace the day, people.